Hello, this is Clement Weinberger, and I'm a freelance editor for Enago. And today I'm going to give you a few tips about how to reference, the best way to reference your publication manuscript. So the next time you read a research article, look for the reference citations, and you'll probably find most of them, as you know, in the introduction and discussion. When was the last time a co-author, colleague, or friend asked you, do you need a reference for that? I guess it's the researcher's equivalent to the otherwise common questions of, how do you know? Who told you that? Or what's your point? What did you answer? Well, my usual choices for a response are either yes, no, or do I need one? When you're writing a publication manuscript, the most important question to answer is, do I need one? Meaning a reference. And to answer that question in anticipation of being asked. So keep in mind what references are for in a publication. In my view, they have two purposes. One is support, and the other is illumination or explanation. The author information of a journal that I was interested once limited the number of references. The authors were not asked to limit the number of references, but to avoid references that didn't directly support the reasons for the study that were described in the introduction, or to illustrate the significance of the study that was discussed at the end of the paper. The guidelines stressed using references to support statements that included data from previous studies that established relationships of your study results with previous research. The guidelines discouraged using references as a review of the published literature. How old should the references be? Well, start with original research going back 5 years and include reviews which might list some older but important publications in their bibliographies. So pick those references from the bibliographies. Try to avoid using reviews as references in study reports. Some reviewers and editors will question citations that are more than 10 years old, possibly because they had published more recent research studies that had been overlooked. Sometimes peer reviewers will ask you to include some additional references when you resubmit your revised manuscript. Perhaps they have a different view than you do of what's general knowledge and what needs validation. No worries, just find a reference and include it. Or sometimes they suggest ones for you to include. Sometimes reviewers ask for additional references to make it easier for readers to find out more of the points that you've discussed. Sometimes, if their research interests or expertise are similar to yours, they may ask you to reference a particular claim or statement because it's something they have published and it would create a citation of their work. No kidding, that happens. One last thought. What's the value of references and referencing? They build context, they help explain the hypothesis being tested or the rationale for research done. They also support the interpretation of the results that you obtained. Put another way, they establish a connection between what was already known and what you have added. My own view is their real value is more for illumination or explanation than for support. Well, those are just a few guidelines of referencing. Use just enough to cover the essentials. You really don't need to explain things with your references that your readers may already know from the context of your research. Well, good luck and good referencing. See you next time.